infants, toddlers, preschool, and kinder prep, child development, early childhood education. Now, when you hear those words, what do you usually think of? Well, I'll tell you what I usually hear when I use the words, I'm a teacher, and I teach a toddler class in a child development center, and I tell people that I am an early childhood educator. Most of the time when I tell people that I am an early childhood educator, I get a reaction like, oh, so you work at a daycare. I am here to inform everybody that, and to stick up for all of my fellow childhood development majors, that childhood education is being a teacher. If you work with infants, if you work with toddlers and preschool or even kinder prep, it does not have to be a specific elementary, middle school, or high school, or even college level grade that you teach. Being a childhood educator matters, and it is being a teacher. Here I am going to talk about 3 different reasons why I believe wholeheartedly that early childhood education, being an early childhood educator, working with even young babies, toddlers, and such, is being an actual teacher. My number one reason for believing that is the curriculum that we use based in my child development center. Now, every child development center may have a different curriculum that we use. We specifically use the emergent-based curriculum. Now, for those of you that don't know what an emergent-based curriculum is, it is where each teacher from the different rooms plan activities and projects based on where their specific group of children is developmentally wise. We also take into consider their skill needs as well as their interests. So the curriculum that we follows the basics of art smart, math counts, science rocks, language works, caring matters, our world, garden works, and so on. Now, each of these categories is going to help a child developmentally depending on what age they are in. Now, as actual teachers, we have to create a weekly schedule of activities based on the children's interests and based on each of these different categories in order for the children to hit all of their marks in all of the areas that we need. We also do language acquisition, where if a child comes in not knowing English, then we would be teaching them English along the way throughout their entire time there at the school. For example, we have some students that speak Spanish only and are learning English, and one of my students in particular is actually from China. So, as I was saying, the curriculum and the weekly activities need to be planned just like a regular, or what some people would call regular, elementary, middle school, high school teacher. So we do plan these things in advance, and they are based on learning activities. Kids are not just playing with toys. They are playing with toys, but there is so much more behind what they are doing, and the reasoning that we have them playing with toys is because they are able to learn their best in their best way while using toys, especially at this age. The second reason I would like to discuss why I believe an early childhood educator is a teacher just the same as an elementary, middle, or high school teacher is because we have to deal with parents as well. We have to deal with parent-teacher conferences. We have to deal with portfolios of the students. So basically what we do each week is we take pictures throughout the week of the children with the iPad we work with, and we upload them to a certain website that is obviously safe, secured, and everything. And we have to write different observations for the children. So in the observations, you cannot put it into your perspective. So you cannot, for example, say the child was having fun, unless the child specifically told you they were having fun. It has to be from an unbiased point of view. So you are literally just detailing exactly what the child did, what they said, what they were playing with, even who they were playing with. And then you have to fit it into the different categories, and explain to the parents what they were learning and why that activity helped them to learn that. And we do about 2 observations a week per child that is in our group. And then at the parent-teacher conference, we gather all of the portfolio, all the observations that we were doing together, and we sit down with the parents. We let the parents know how their children is flourishing in the class, and we also let them know how their child could be improving and our plans to help them improve those skills in the future. And I don't know about you, but to me that definitely sounds like a regular teacher. My third reasoning for believing that an early childhood educator is the same type of teacher as an elementary, middle, or high school teacher is because of the work that we do with kids, and comparing it to having worked in a daycare before or even as a nanny. Now, some of those people that work in daycares or as nannies have that child development background and do these kind of activities with the children they work with, but a lot of the time it in a daycare setting or in a setting where the child is at home with a nanny, they are basically going off of what they want for the parent's schedule. And they're playing with them, they're doing activities with them what they want to do, and they do learn in that way. They definitely do get learning skills in that way, but the kind of work that I do as an early childhood educator is a lot more structured, and we sit down and we take the time to really explain to the kids what they are learning, why they are learning, and we do the same with the parents as well, and keep an open communication as to what their children are learning every day in our classroom, why we are doing things a certain way that we are doing them. We also potty train, and that's teaching a child something. So, in conclusion, I firmly stand in my belief that Early childhood educators are just as much teachers as an elementary teacher, a middle school teacher, a high school teacher, because not only do we work with and have a passion and a love for teaching kids, but we use curriculum. We implement curriculum into the children's lives and help teach them math, teach them language and songs, and we teach them how to appreciate art and help them to engage in dramatic play, as well as we engage the parents and have parent-teacher conferences. We do also do portfolios, weekly planning, monthly planning, and that is what makes an early childhood educator a real teacher.